All right, we are live, and Sean has been nice enough to join us because Chase could not join us tonight because we are kind of here.
Get well, brother.
Not scheduled.
Get well, Chase. Get well, Dan.
Yes, get well, Dan.
Do a lot better.
Dan's going through some stuff as well. Hopefully, at some point he can get well enough we can have him on here and me and him can yell at each other for like 30 minutes.
I don't think they know who Dan is.
That's
Calvin A. Hobbs, y'all. That's Calvin A. Hobbs.
Remember him. But me and him can get on here and you can hear me and him yell at each other about stupid shit. So anyways, we will be talking about all sorts of stuff tonight, especially the SummerSlam, which I'm sorry we made you watch, Markeem, but we watched it. So
damn, no apology to me. He been watching these shows.
What?
I don't give an apology.
I do what?
You watched the last couple of pay-per-views.
I watched Backlash and I watched this. That's
don't
it.
Apologize to this man.
He was all mad, and he was even worse. And then I think Sean, you watched this for the website, right?
Yes, I did. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, so I did that, and I think I watched the G1 show the same day. So yeah,
that was a good show. I'm sorry.
Definitely a downgrade from going from a G1 to SummerSlam.
Wait, was that the Goto show? The Goto and to catch the show? Was that it?
No, I don't. I think that was a different show.
Oh, okay.
I was doing the review for that show, and then I was literally finishing it as SummerSlam was starting.
Yeah, I think that was the next night that match. Yeah.
By the way, match of the tournament, and spoiler, but I know we're gonna talk about it. But one of my favorite matches of the whole year. I fucking love that match.
It was good.
Yeah, that was awesome. Goto to Takeshita, that was pretty great.
Imagine that a guy that both of them can just beat the shit out of each other on, and it's great.
But honestly, it wasn't even like. Well, let's talk about the bad wrestling first.
Let's
get the bad out of the way first.
Let's get all right. So the SummerSlam. Let me.
Overall, what did you think?
I mean, I honestly, being honest, right? The show itself. I mean, I've seen people call it one of the worst shows ever. It wasn't all that.
Wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that? I've seen it's kind of crazy because I've seen people that hate the WWE call it one of the worst shows ever. And I've seen people that love the WWE love the show. I am like smack dab in the middle. This was a very good episode of Raw. I mean, I'm just saying, very good episode of Raw. Do you want my grand opinion of the show now, or do you want to just go?
Let's go through everybody's opinion, and then you can give your grand opinion.
Yeah, so I mean, there was some good wrestling on the show, and I think Dave Meltzer put it best on his review, where it was like, if you were looking for a show that had a lot of angles and a lot of stuff happening or advancing the next part of certain stories, then you probably love the show, especially if you're into those WWE stories right now. But if you were trying to watch the show for like in-ring quality, I mean, it had a little bit of it in there, but this really wasn't the show for you if you were looking for that.
I don't know if the card kind of going into it would have even had that happen, like a great in-ring. Like when I went into this, I mean, I thought the show was fair. Like I didn't hate watching it. Like I thought the show went by pretty easily, to be honest with you. I can't say I was really into anything. The one thing I was into, I was pretty disappointed with, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But I thought the show was fine. I could see a WWE fan enjoying this a lot because a lot of stuff that they're into happened. But, for me, who haven't watched anything since WrestleMania, again, it was a fine show. It wasn't something I wanted to watch Raw the next night or anything at all. But just sitting there for 3 hours or so, I thought the show was all right.
Yeah. I thought the show was okay for a W. Like I didn't think, like if you thought this was the worst show ever or one of the worst WWE shows ever, I'm wondering, have you watched the last couple of shows? Because this wasn't any worse than any of those, really. It had more matches, and it had
2 more matches.
Yeah, 2 more matches. Those 2 more matches, I would say, were really good. But it was definitely it was very storyline heavy, which is fine, except that, and since we probably all talk about this, I'm not into any of these storylines. I don't even think any of these storylines are great. I know people like get all excited and wonderful and hyped about these storylines. I don't think they're that good. And you can't just have the story. Like, you can have storyline matches, and I would say the first match that I guess we can kind of talk about, which was Liv and Rhea. To me, that was a storyline match because it wasn't that long of a match either. I say that, and it was 15 minutes. But
what? Seriously?
Yeah, apparently it was 15 minutes long. So it didn't seem like it was that long.
I'll give them that, I guess. I'll give them that.
Yeah. But to me,
do you remember anything about the match other than what happened?
Just what happened. I mean,
other than like the separated shoulder spot that they did twice.
That was kind of silly. That was pretty silly.
Are you talking about the spot that Shayna Baszler did better like 6 years ago? That's fine.
Probably. Just not good. Like it was just, and you knew what was happening. They set that up, and it was just like, and then the way they did, like, and Martine will probably agree with me with this. This is the type of stuff that Lucha Underground would do, and they would do better because they wouldn't kill your, like, as stupid as the storylines could be and as over the top as they could be, they weren't stupid about it. Where if something like this were going to happen, it would happen like right away. And that's not what you had here. You had this long
or after the match.
Right.
What happened right away or after the match, not during.
Or not during the match, and it just didn't, I don't know. It was it doesn't help that I don't like this storyline. I think this storyline's dumb. I don't think they should be doing this storyline at all. I thought from what I saw from Raw, I thought the follow-up looked just as dumb to me. I mean, but
what was the follow-up? What did he do?
You basically just had Priest say he's gonna get revenge on the other 4 members that all betrayed him because it was Dom. It's Dom, Liv. Finn is now the leader, which is weird to me. But I don't watch. Maybe that makes sense in a big. You would think that it would just be Liv taking Rhea's spot, and then Carlito, and who's the other person that's in that group? JD McDonough.
JD,
is he still in there?
Yeah. Them all basically left the other 2. So
they're gonna have like Civil War.
I guess so. I don't know.
And apparently they've given Rhea and Priest the name the Terror Twins. Apparently that's the name they're going with right now.
Wonderful.
So
Love it.
God, man,
it's the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
So corny. So fucking corny, man.
One of 6 interference spots in the matches that we had.
Probably.
Right. So this is a good segue into my big picture thoughts about the WWE in general. Okay. What is the difference between 2024 and 2023, I guess, WWE than 2008 and 2009 TNA? What's the difference?
The entrances are way more over.
That's about it. And then I guess the roster's a bit younger because look, think about it.
Yeah.
There are distraction finishes in all the matches, right? The wrong people go over half the time, right? Storylines that never end and go on forever, and a champion that seems like second fiddle to all of the nonsense around them. And we rightfully, all of us, even some of the people I see praising the WWE now, we all buried that shit. What is the difference now? Why don't you bury this the way you buried that?
Because that was TNA and this is
that was
WWE.
TNA.
That's literally it. That's literally it.
You had Russo that everyone could point to and up.
This is why I come on here every week and yell about those fans because they just won't admit what it is. You motherfuckers are just nostalgic, man. And that's fine. That's fine. But this was bad. This used to be bad when it wasn't them. Now that it's them, it's good. It doesn't make any sense. If you're burying that, you need to bury this.
how much of it
That's
also is that not the people that are probably online all the time talking pro wrestling, that sort of thing, but the fans in general of WWE? How many of those fans were around during that period of TNA? I mean, it's very clear.
Probably
But
not.
I'm just saying
I'm
that
not
I
even
think
just talking
there's
about
a.
those fans though. I'm talking about
I
like the
know
people
you're talking about
that were around
yeah,
them that know
I understand.
better. You know what
But
I mean?
I think that blinds people because they're seeing, hey, the fans are liking this, and they don't see that. Yeah, but these are not tradition. Like, I don't want to say traditional. These are people who are fairly new pro wrestling fans, I would say. I don't know where they came from. I don't know where because they magically came from somewhere.
They're into Samantha Irvin's TikToks
or
and
something.
like what outfits the wrestlers are wearing.
Stands, man, stand culture. People from Tumblr.
I think a part of it, and props to them, is the wrestlers now are more engaged on social media, and they're legit. Like Brandon brought up a couple weeks ago, well, last week, that this is a stand company now. These are people that come from social media and they follow these people and they watch the show because they follow these people. A lot of these people have never even seen wrestling before. And props to them for doing it. That's one way to do it, 100%. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but I just know all the pundits that I know have been around for a long time, PW Insider and all these other places that I know have been around for a long time, that bury TNA all the time. Why won't you bury this? Why don't you bury this? They do the same thing. What's the difference? What's the difference? And I would argue they do it worse. So what's the difference?
We'll get because I think when you get to the main event, I think it's your point is very very true.
Just saying. And like everybody in the chat right now, really think about it. Think about all the stories that the main event mafia, and think about how they treated Samoa Joe. Look, the Bloodline, Cody Rhodes. Just think about it. It's the same thing. But whatever.
Then we had what else we had? We
Braun
had
and Sami.
Braun and Sami, which was good. I mean,
yeah, it was fine.
Too short.
It was short, but you were putting Braun over, which is what you needed to do, I would say.
The minute I got into it, it was over. And I was like, oh, I actually like this. Oh, it's over.
Which is fine. I mean, for what it was fine. I was shocked. You guys said this because I was at work when this was airing, and you guys were talking about this live.
Oh, Josh, you skipped something.
I did.
At the very beginning of the show, you skipped the man that doesn't want to be on camera. The man that hates being on camera.
You want to talk about comparing?
Yeah,
People go crazy over Tony Khan giving a hug off screen during a press conference that's streamed on YouTube. Hunter can come out here every show, get his music played, and there's no issue at all. Why is that bad?
He doesn't want to be on camera. Brady, he don't want to be.
Not even. I mean, you can say that. That's fine, but still, he's. Why does he do it?
I don't know.
Because hey, don't forget, this is the same guy who, and I don't know if you remember this, when the old the games from the mid 2000s were coming out. I think it was some sort of edict where in any promotional material for the games, the pictures could not show him in like a prone position or a state of peril or anything like that.
He get to look strong and all that.
Yeah, I remember that.
The same guy we're talking about here. So,
is Stephanie in the crowd if that picture of Shane didn't come out?
No, I don't think so. Or they wouldn't have shown her. They would have shown her maybe camera. Once. Yeah, they would have shown her maybe once. They wouldn't have, and we wouldn't have.
I don't think she would have got a title card or any of that stuff.
I think they would have maybe shown her once. They definitely. You wouldn't have all of the social media stuff of all of that. I guess we should talk about that
and stuff.
Yeah, that's something I forgot to add. I guess we should talk about the Shane thing once we get done with all of this. But yeah, no. I think it's just him being him. I think that you have all of these people who are like, hey, it's not Vince. I think you have a lot of people that feel like he saved everyone from Vince. I think there's that mentality.
Oh my God.
Which is just, I really do. And it's like, what are you talking about?
He saved everyone from Vince? Vince being fucking disgusting. That's what happened.
And him
Well,
sitting
you're
right
right.
next to him.
Yeah,
him
him
sitting right
saying-
next to him in the boardroom.
Where they at?
But, you know.
Yeah. And people
Can't
like to
prove
give him credit for everything that's going on right now, but if we really think about this, when we're talking about like, you know, what was the storyline that got them popular right now? It was the Bloodline. How much of a hand did he really have in that?
Bloodline and Judgment Day was started by Vince.
Right.
His main thing that he started first was the what's the girl group? What's their name?
Damage Control.
Damage Control. Yeah,
and it was a failure. And you know what? People, even like us diehards, we praise how Gunther's been treated, but Vince was the one that started pushing him. Like he got kicked out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Triple H might have kept it going, but Vince started it. I'm just saying.
Right.
Look, and this is not a praise Vince McMahon podcast. I'm just calling it what it is.
And when it comes to like the Bloodline stuff, especially in the like the latter half of it, I'm sure that, you know, Paul Heyman had a lot to do with that at some point. And I'm sure that, you know, Roman became such a big star that, and I think the flagship guys, Rich and Joe, have talked about this. I'm sure, like, when it comes to that top of the line stuff, like Roman probably has more of a say than Triple H does.
That's
Hell,
true.
we know The Rock did more than Triple. We know that.
So when you look at all that, you know, how much of it, you know, is really his idea or his, you know, when he's literally just being told what to do.
Like I'm not trying to be an ass, but like watching these shows, it really makes me think, man, when I really enjoyed NXT, who was booking that? Couldn't have been this guy. Right. Could have been this fucking guy. Could have been
I mean, I think the thing with NXT,
those shows were all simple though.
Yeah,
and those shows were not like,
but
they were an easy watch. And that's the thing that I liked about it. It was the weekly show that I watched before, you know, AEW and everything came out. So it was an easy watch, but it was something that was never appointment television.
The weekly show, but the takeovers,
that's what I'm saying. The takeovers were all, but come on, man, you fire up EWR, give me this roster. I'm putting together takeovers, like you know, anyone can kind of do that.
But that's all he has to do now, because this roster is great. That roster is still great.
But,
it's still great.
I think in his head, he thinks I still have to book it the way that the main roster has to be booked. Because if you watch a lot of this stuff, there's a lot of like the bad Triple H like stuff that would happen when he was a wrestler. Matches
going too long? And,
matches going too long. You know,
they had a problem last year where they were basically, it felt like on Raw, they were repeating the same match or the same combination of guys for like 4 or 5 months over and over again. So,
hey, you know who else did that? 2008, 2009 TNA. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
But, well, not only that, but you have the let's start a blood feud with headlocks. Let's, matches.
Oh my. Okay, all right. We got to get further in this show because oh my god.
Yeah, let's go to the next match.
Okay, so then we had I was gonna say was I was following the Discord on at work, and you guys then start popping off that like this might be the best LA Night match ever with Logan Paul, which I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen that many LA Night matches. I know he's crazy over and he's been in with a lot of guys. So to me, I was like, this can't be like the best match he's ever been in. He's been in there with better guys. And then Logan Paul, stupid dumbass, and I'll talk about Logan Paul later. Dumbass Logan Paul, who gets wrestling better than 90% of pro wrestlers. They go out there and they have this great match. I don't know what the fuck happened, but maybe they just have really good chemistry with each other. I don't know, because
Logan Paul's just great, man. He's just a great pro wrestler. Honestly, think about it, right? If we had to rank the top 100 pro wrestlers on the planet, if someone like put Logan Paul in the top 50, are you really arguing with them? Like right now, in the whole planet,
top 50. What about what I could argue top 20? I could talk. You could probably say top 25 too.
Ooh.
I mean, if you
but if you want to put him in the top 50, man, hey, I'd be with it. Because every single show, like I hate watching these shows. I do. They piss me off. I get mad every time I watch them. And I'm gonna yell a little later about something. But Logan Paul's matches they always deliver. They always deliver. If he has a bad one, it's weird. His matches are always fun, always high energy. It wakes up the crowd because the crowd is sitting on their hands for a lot of this shit, minus the entrances and the finishes. But he wakes up the crowd. He understands how to play to the crowd. He understands even how to lay out his. A distraction finish again. But everyone he has heat to it. He just gets this shit. I don't know how, but he gets it.
And he doesn't do he plays to the crowd in a different way than everybody else does. I think that's part of it too. And I don't know if he's just allowed to do that or what it is, but he does. He doesn't do the NXT stuff that you see. I'm guessing it's just the over dramatized, stupid shit that you see in
cutting
these
the promo
matches.
during the matches.
Yeah, that you don't see that as much from him.
Everybody got on Johnny Gargano when he was an NXT for doing this stuff. They've taken it to a whole nother level with all these matches, man. It's just a whole nother. Because what Johnny would do it at the end. They're doing it the whole match, man. It's fucking. Well, we got to get to that. I want to talk about it so bad. We got to get there.
I didn't like that match as much as you guys, but I still thought it was good. The moonsault was pretty insane. It was pretty insane.
Once again, I was
Logan
at
Paul
Wawa during this match.
Logan Paul borrowing from his doppelganger ELP with that moonsault. His lookalike.
Oh fuck this match. Then we had Nia Jax versus Bayley. This match sucked.
Piece of garbage.
I don't really have much. I don't really
Marking.
You know what annoys me about Nia Jax? It doesn't matter that she's bad. She can be bad. It's fine. The thing is, you are huge. You are huge. Why do you hurt people, yet everything you do looks like it doesn't hurt? I don't understand it. If you, take someone, and I hate to do this, but because she's the same size, but I have to do it. Look at someone like Aja Kong, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, right?
You're not about to compare Aja Kong.
I'm not. But one thing that Aja did better than any wrestler ever, right? Everything looks like it hurts. Every single thing. And then I remember watching a interview way back in the day with Amazing Kong, Kia Stevenson. I remember watching that. She was saying that Aja Kong was one of the most gentle and safest wrestlers that she's ever been in the ring with. But nothing looked like it. Meanwhile, Nia Jax hurts everyone, but nothing she does looks like it hurts. I hated this match until the finishing sequence because that's when her stuff looked like it had stank on it. And I'm this is how you should always work. If you always work like that, people would put up with you. People will be more into you because you're fucking massive. The edge of being huge works in the favor of every pro wrestler ever, but she is so bad at this, man. And another distraction finish in a show littered with them, so it doesn't mean anything. I don't understand why these people like this. I don't. You saw these distraction finishes the whole show. And this one was the most nonsensical one because you want us to believe you're cashing in this money in the bank, right?
You know why it works? You know why
What's
it
up?
works? I don't mean to cut you off. You know why all
What's
this
up?
works? Because it tells a story. And it's telling a
Telling
story,
stories.
so that's why it
Telling
works.
stories.
But we know the story, Brandon. This story is fucking Tiffany Stratton's gonna
Yeah.
she's gonna bully her, and then Tiffany Stratton's gonna be like, I'm tired of you bullying me and all this stuff, and she's gonna cash in on her. She's not just gonna beat her, she's gonna cash in on her. That's what's gonna happen. Because they can't make people. They don't make people. They don't make anyone. Everyone looks second fiddle. It took them fucking 10 years to make Roman just by turning him heel like we all told him to. And now everybody on the roster feels like just a person minus Cody and Roman. And then, well, we're going to get to that. But yeah, I'm tired of this shit, man. We need to bury this shit the same way we buried everything else throughout history. This needs to get the same heat because it's still bad. It's still bad. It's still, I don't care that these people are cheering. I don't care. It's still bad. Look, the cheap heat guys, the ringer guys, all those guys, right? Like
Rosenberg talk.
Yeah, but them praising this stuff, that's fine. They don't know any better. They've never seen anything else. That's fine.
They know better. Don't.
But
I do not think Peter Rosenberg knows.
But I'm saying a lot of these guys, like all they watch is literally the WWE. Their point of reference is just this company. Like guys like the fucking PW Insider guys, even Dave. So Dave be pissing me off sometimes too. Like, you know better, sir. I was just talking about Aja Kong. I wouldn't even know who that was if it wasn't for you. You see better, sir. Like what? Why does this company not get the same heat that you've given other companies? Why is this? I know you're afraid of that fan base.
Because people have an emotional attachment to this company.
I don't
not even
care.
that. You're talking about like Dave. Dave goes off of business and they're hot right now. So
Yeah,
like,
I mean
what can you say?
that's and he, you know, he was like that before too. He was like, they're doing good business, so it's working. So that's all.
I don't care. I don't care, man. I don't care.
And I disagree. I'm like, whatever. But you were talking about Nia. Here's the thing, and this isn't great praise, but you know, Nyla Rose is better at what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yes. You know.
Go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry.
But she's, and I wouldn't, you know, and I don't, you know, I would tell everyone to go follow her Twitter account if you're on X or whatever, because she's excellent at that game. But she's not the greatest wrestler ever. She's good at that role though. So there's a much better example of someone that is the exact same type of wrestler, the exact same thing.
I would only say she's like slightly better than Nia Jax. She's better at that. You're right, John.
Right. Like, you know, right. So, but
two things real quick. So, one thing that should be mentioned is
about
that,
this match, but go ahead.
I was just so I think this was like one of like 5 matches on the show that had people getting thrown into the post shoulder first. So clearly the agents were not talking to each other on that one.
They never talk to each other.
No, like, I guess not. And the one thing I will say about the Nia Tiffany story is, once again, Paul Levesque apparently only knows one story and he keeps repeating it over and over again, which is the long-term breakup angle. Because Nia and Tiffany is just another one of those. So, you know, people praise Paul Levesque, yet he only knows really how to tell one story.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, or a couple.
There
of stories.
you have it. Couldn't have said it better myself than Sean Cedar did. There we go.
All right,
Jesus,
who wants to go first on Drew versus Punk?
I mean, who wants to take it?
I mean,
I don't think, to go back to like the beginning of the show, I don't think I would vote this as the worst show of the year. But if the Observer ballots are going out today, I think I would vote this as the worst match of the year, just purely based on the fact that, you know, going into and even right up to when the bell rang and he got the bell pop, people were excited. This was probably my feud of the year, and they hadn't even wrestled a match, which is, you know, just a testament to how good those guys were in building up the match. And then they gave us whatever that was, where Punk was fixated on this bracelet and Seth was taking too much attention from the match than he should have. And yeah, just, you know, I think there was a quote going around before the pay-per-view where I think Punk did a presser or something where it's type of like, oh, this is going to be, you're going to see a level of violence that you've never seen before. And then they just had like a one-act play as a match.
They had a very generic match.
Yeah. I gave this a dud. I thought this is pretty awful.
See, I didn't think it was.
I didn't hate
it, man. Because I
at least for me, I think a lot of that I think was expectation. Because I have genuinely enjoyed the build to this point for that match, but then it totally shit the bed. I think they overthought it, and they just overbooked it to hell. I thought. I mean, it was with the whole bracelet.
This was not good. I will say, but I think that to me, this is like a main event match that did not deliver. If I were to like put a star rating or something, I'd probably put maybe somewhere like 2 stars. which for like a main event match is not good. But this was, as you know, match I was looking forward to. I think this is the match everyone was looking forward to. Had without a doubt the best build. They hadn't even wrestled a match yet. All of those things, and I knew there were issues as soon as, and I knew this happened, but I was like, man, it couldn't be like what everyone says it is. When they started singing Seth's song at the start of that match, I was like, oh, that's not good, because here is this feud, here is this match, here's this thing that's been built up. This should be like a big, like you could literally say this, if it wasn't for Roman coming back, and everyone knew Roman was going to come back, this could have main evented this show. Sure. And Seth, it's not even Seth going out there. This is Seth just standing there, and then all of a sudden, during the match, and all of a sudden they start singing his song. That's like, okay, that's not good. Now this fan base, they're there to interest pops, music, catchphrases, all of that. And I know, you brought up the Rich and Joe too, and they've mentioned this, and other people have mentioned this too. And I hadn't heard anyone say this, and then I thought this and then found out other people were saying this too. This was especially, and when we get to the main event, it was even more so. This was so WCW like during the NWO, when you would literally. You would have these matches, and the crowd was just waiting for the NWO shit. And it was very much like that, where you would have, even matches that had nothing to do with it, you were still waiting for it. That reminded me of this. That's not good. That shows to me a problem with this. They're hot, but
the matches don't matter, man. These matches do not matter.
And I think when there's a fall off, the fall off is going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I think it's going to be.
I'm going to be here like this.
I think it's going to be bad. Now, maybe they don't. Maybe somehow it doesn't fall off, but there's no meat to it. And if there's no meat to it, there's nothing. Once people get bored of it, or once people, it's not the thing.
It's coming.
You have
Josh.
a problem.
It's coming, Josh.
At some
point, people are gonna get bored with this. That's just the society.
But I can't even imagine. This was so like not even a CM Punk match. This was something else entirely. Like I heard everyone saying, "Hey, where was the CM Punk from?" Like that we got the last year that he was even in AEW. We didn't even get any of that. Like I don't know what like is his body so shot that they don't trust him, that they don't even trust him to go out there and have like a match like that, and they have to do whatever this thing was, because even if you were gonna do we're gonna do storyline heavy match instead of a match per se, picking a bracelet, I could think of a lot of other stories you could have done during this match. You could have done a walk and brawl, during this to hide things. There was other things you could do that I have no idea.
You could have injured a body part on the Raw before and then worked that over in the match.
Right. Something like that. Something. But that's not what we got. So yeah, this was disappointing. I wouldn't call it I think the three of us all agree, not a dud, but disappointing. I wouldn't shock me because it's much hate, because even WWE fans didn't like this match. This was the match that
I don't know. I've heard people who have defended that bracelet because it meant something to him. That was a good story.
And also, those fans in the building, they were into that bracelet. They popped for the bracelet. They definitely popped for the bracelet. They cared about the bracelet, Josh.
Whatever.
Do you guys? I know this has been going around. Do you guys buy the theory that because they know that Punk can't go anywhere else, that this is all like
they're
a
fucking with him? They're fucking with him?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Do you buy that?
I mean, wouldn't shock me, because as nice as the new Triple H is, he's still fucking Triple H.
He don't forget nothing. He remembers everything CM Punk ever said about him. He remembers all that shit.
He's I don't. If he's in charge, I don't expect Jericho to ever go back in any capacity to that company. Literally, I do not
I don't know
expect.
about that. I don't know about that.
It would shock me if him in charge.
Yeah, Brandon, I don't know, Brandon.
I
I don't know about that.
You know,
Jericho retired first, man. Like, I don't know
but yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's very disappointing. Then we got something that wasn't disappointing.
Hold on, I didn't even talk about the match.
Okay, you talk about this match.
Honestly, there were bigger problems than that bracelet to me. I didn't give a fuck about.
I mean, the whole setup was bad.
Because the thing that bothered me the most is Seth being out there for one. But if he's out there, do it right. Like the match starts and they run at each other, the crowd's going crazy. CM Punk has Drew in the corner. Seth counts to 5. He pulls him away and he goes, "Hey, I'm the referee here. You're gonna listen to me." Okay. Then Drew does the same thing. He does it to Drew. CM Punk goes outside. He's breaking the rules. You're not counting them out. None of that stuff. Then he's talking shit to Drew like, "Hey, you said you were going to kill him. Drew, go get the chair. You just watch him get the chair. Then you take the chair. What's this? Like, what is it? Do you care about the rules when you feel like it?" That bothered me. That was the biggest problem. I was like, see, what is this? I like wrestling. I'm sorry. I don't know what this is. And then the go to sleep. That match emasculated the go to sleep. Like that, he should have a brand new finisher. He hits the go to sleep on Seth. Hits it on Seth. Drew, like 20 seconds later, not even that long, hits the Claymore, and this motherfucker's already moving. Let it go. Yeah, like what? And he can't even say he was like hyped on adrenaline because he was just the referee. It's not like he was in the match. You know what I mean? It was so weird. Like that completely emasculated that move, bro. He should beat no one with the go to sleep anymore. I hated that shit. The bracelet, whatever, it meant something to those people. It's dumb shit. The WWE is full of dumb shit. I don't care about the dumb shit. I don't care. Just makes sense. And none of that made sense. None of it. Say what you want about the bracelet, but at least it made sense because you saw it before. It was a thing they referenced. It meant something to CM Punk. It's dumb, but at least it made sense.
Hey, it was the only thing that those fans were into too, because there was a long stretch where they were not into that match.
Everything with Seth Rollins, every single thing with him made no sense. That was my biggest problem with the match. Yeah, it's terrible. The more I think about it, maybe it is a dud, Sean. Maybe it is a dud. Maybe it is, man. That fucking match, man. All right. And I heard people say, I know Joe Lanza said this too, that CM Punk, if we know anything about CM Punk, there's no way he could be proud of what he did. You know what I mean? There's no way. There's just no way, right? Because if he is, then he truly is not CM Punk anymore. He's truly not. Just saying.
All right. Okay, then we got the palate cleanser. We got
The Miz.
Oh, we got
Miz and Archer.
No.
Yeah, that was a good palate cleanser.
The Miz and Jelly Roll. Right?
Jelly Roll and whatever. I don't know. Why'd they have them lose the? Never mind. I'm just not even gonna. I'm trying to think, and that's not.
Let's talk about Walter versus Punishment Martinez.
Yes, Gunther versus Walter versus Punishment Martinez. It was much more for the most part, other than you had the storyline aspect, which kind of brought this down a little bit. But they still beat the shit out of each other. Yeah. It was a Walter match. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him now. I guess.
Well, we know what we're doing with him now. He's wrestling Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot he's doing
Randy Orton.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter they did some gimmick where did Orton get pinned or Gunther got pinned and the shoulder was up?
In the King of the Ring final, yeah, Orton's shoulder was clearly up, so they're doing that match for Berlin, I guess.
Gotcha.
Hey man, is Ilya Dragunov healthy? Is he healthy?
Yeah.
What? Do that, man. That's the biggest match you can put on.
I have a question for what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Markeem, when Randy Orton doesn't want to take those chops?
Oh my god, man! Like,
What are you gonna...
like no, like I'm not even trying to be funny, but like for the biggest match you can honestly do for that fan base, and it's not just me being a smart. It is that. It is Gunther and Ilya Dragunov. Why don't they just do that? Just have Ilya come out there and be like, "Hey, man, we've been doing this for over a decade. I've beaten you. I've beaten you more than any of these motherfuckers in this company. I know you. I know how to beat you." People have based their whole careers trying to beat you because you seem unstoppable. I have the blueprint. I'm the only one that's done it more than any of these people. Put that belt on the line against me. And you can even do a storyline where leading up to it where Gunther goes, "You got to earn it. Beat this guy, beat this guy." It's like, because I've done things in this place that you haven't done. So if you do the things that I've done, beat the guys that I beat, have them face like some of the people he beat for the IC title. Have Ilya see? I'm sorry. I'm thinking like a pro wrestling fan. My bad. I'm sorry.
But you also fancy booking Hunter, which is insane. But more props to you.
But that's all you have to do. That is the biggest match they can do. Not Randy Orton. This is not 2004. Not. Oh, let me calm down.
I don't know. You got people that still think that Randy Orton is like one of the best ever. So.
That's fine, but for Germany, Ilya Dragunov and Walter, that's the match. I'm sorry, Gunther. That's the match.
And this is a paid for show too. So it doesn't matter what you put. It doesn't matter what you put on the freaking show. So yeah.
They're both European. Those people are gonna cheer for both, and the atmosphere will be crazy for that. That's where you do it. It's a no-brainer.
But we did have the outside interference here again. That kind of sucked.
Which also didn't make any sense. Because Walter kicked him in the face.
Yeah, Balor.
He kicked him in the face. Why are you helping him? He kicked you in the face. They could have did this after the match. This is the perfect time to just do it after the match. Sorry, yo. I'm sorry. I'm yelling. I hate this place, man. I feel like a worse person every time I watch this shit, man. It challenges me in the wrong way, in the worst way. This fucking company challenges me, man. Challenges my patience. It challenges my sensibilities. I feel worse when I watch it. You know what I mean? Food tastes different when I eat it, while I'm watching it. Like, and my whole body is different when I watch this shit, man. When I think about it.
Food. That was the best thing.
Jesus, man. I fucking hate this. I hate this shit so much, man. I hate it so, especially because there's so much good wrestling all around the world that I'm tired of people pretending like the stuff that you used to hate, TNA in 2008 and 2009, is all of a sudden good. It's all of a sudden good now. It doesn't make any sense, man. You hated it before. Why do you like it now? The new people that's yeeting and all that shit, I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to you, Mike Johnson. I'm talking to you, Dave Scherer. I'm talking to you, Dave Meltzer. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to y'all. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You okay?
Disgraceful, man. No, okay? I'm not.
He loves this company.
I'm not.
He loves this.
I'm not.
Okay, should we talk about this main event? Should we talk about? Because to me, this was problematic. Because
this is my worst match.
Yeah, this was problematic because match wasn't good. I didn't think it was going to be that. Like, we wondered if Solo would rise to the occasion or if Cody could do something with him. The answer to that is no.
Nope.
This was further evidence that, I know Jacob broke his foot. I think, did he break his foot or do we know what actually happened?
I
know Fightful was reporting that it was a way for him to get taken out of the match for when Roman came out, and that there was no. I know people
see. I think that's a mistake.
Uso
I
come out, but that wasn't the case.
I think that part of this, and I guess we can get to that. But the whole, everyone literally was waiting. Like when I was talking about the WCW, everyone was literally waiting for Roman. They dragged everything out. It was what Bloodline rules, which then then everyone should just be out there anyways, and it should just be a basically anarchy in an arena for the belt. And if whichever teams win, the dude gets the belt. That's what it should be. That is what the match should be.
You can't get entrance pops doing that though. You gotta have entrance pops. So
Yeah, we gotta have
Owens
entrance
coming
pops.
out and Randy
And
Orton
then the
coming
crowd
out.
dies again for like 5
Dude,
minutes. And then
I watched a video of like a fan in the crowd, and it was like probably like I don't know 5 or 10 seconds before Roman comes out, dead, nothing, nobody's doing anything. It was so like quiet, and like you said, it was just that looking to the back, seeing who's gonna come out of the tunnel in WCW Nitro. That's exactly what it felt like. Like nobody cared about the match until
that's
run-ins
Cody, and that's the dude that they've spent almost 2 years now building up as a monster. But to me, just watching is like, this is not the guy. I would have had pretty much everything you would have had. I would have had Fatu come out, destroy everybody, have him be the guy to destroy everybody, and then have him face off with Roman, and then have Roman overcome him, and then you can do the rest of the thing. But this match made Cody look like a complete afterthought. What was even
Samoa Joe? Go ahead.
Complete afterthought. And we all knew that when Roman came back, he would be like the biggest thing ever. He was definitely the biggest thing ever.
People went crazy for it, which I get. I mean, he's a popular star, but people acted like he was going away for like 12 months. The dude's been gone like 3 or 4 months, and I
think part of that's the angle too. I think part of that was the Heyman angle. People were ready for him to come back. I think all of that. I think, to me, this, if you want to say a story that helped this match, I mean, we've all come on here and talked about that this has been a good story. We've talked about the fact that this has been exactly what you want. We've foretold pretty much every single since, how this was going to happen. It's all been predictable. Predictability is not a bad thing. Predictability is fine. A lot of people get upset about, predictability. Even though then, they praise Triple H and all of his stuff is I would say even overly, it's to the point where it's almost overly predictable. But this didn't help Cody. This didn't help anybody. I don't even know, what's Cody do coming out of this? What's he do?
I think Rich and Joe looked at this, but when you look at that SmackDown roster, outside of the Bloodline guys, there's no real clear challenger unless one a babyface turns on Cody. Because I think I was trying to Nakamura, they did that feud already, and he's on SmackDown. And there was 1 or 2 other guys who are people that Cody's wrestled already. So there's not a lot on SmackDown. All the guys that would be interesting are on Raw. Nobody on SmackDown is there that would be an interesting challenger. And AJ, they did AJ already. So
because you're going to be second, you're not even going to be. You're going to be.
Wait, Sean, you think they care about the brand split all of a sudden?
No,
I say that, and Randy was on Raw last night. So,
but the thing is you think about what do you do? Because the Roman stuff and the Bloodline stuff is going to be so top tier that Cody's not even a step below, which that would be fine. He's a couple of steps below, and that you don't want that with you. I mean, they don't care about those belts. I mean, they cared about those belts when Roman had them. They don't care about those belts now. It's very clear. But yeah, it was very telling, very watching and saying, hey, this isn't good. And Solo is not good. Solo wrestles like a boring Randy Orton. I know that sounds weird.
Crazy. That's crazy. A boring Randy Orton.
But think about it. It's Randy Orton without the intensity.
The technique. The intensity and the technique. It's Randy Orton without that. Yeah.
He doesn't know what to do between the moves.
Right. And there's nothing that it's very it's overly methodical, and not in even a monster way, because he's not put forward as a monster, so that doesn't work. And then he doesn't do the right kind of moves for it to be high impact methodical stuff. It just comes off very dry, very Randy Orton's the only one I can think of. I'm sure he's not the only one, because there's so many other people in that company, because they
it's
they love Randy Orton so much.
they want him to come off like a mastermind, and he's just not that. He's not that guy at all.
Right.
Just not even a little bit.
Right. And like, and Joe and Rich talked about this, and I've saw it too. Like, I know people at work who that's all they watch is WWE. They'll watch AEW sometimes, but for the most part, they only watch WWE. And they have come up and asked me because they know, like, they were like, this Jacob Fatu guy, where did he come from? And I'm like, well, he's been around for a while. And they're like, really? And I go, yeah, they just, he has a criminal record and they didn't want to, was keeping him out. But they're like, he's so good. And it's like, he's so, and like, literally they're like, is he going to, they're all like, when is he going to turn on Jacob? Or when are they going to, on Solo, because he's so much better than Solo. And it's like, yeah.
Anybody Brandon, you remember my brother-in-law? He was like, what is a Jacob Fatu and where can I see more of it? So nice. Yeah, man. He's good, man.
And I don't even think he's been like Jacob Fatu yet. He's been he hasn't. That's the thing. And that's what I told him. I said, oh, you haven't even seen anything yet. He hasn't been, he's being wild Samoan Jacob Fatu. He's not being like badass Jacob Fatu.
Wait till they let him start talking. I wonder how they're gonna be like, "Hey, man, you can't say that,"
or not even say, or just they'll find ways around it. But because to me, that's the feud you want to get to is him versus Roman. Roman can go over, but to me, that's a feud where you can do, and he comes out better of it because he can look good against Roman, then Roman still beat him. But it's WWE, so I don't expect that.
How long do you get to that point? Because
I think they should, I think he should be the roadblock that gets put in front of. That's why Solo not winning the championship, I think, was a bad call. I think he should have won. And then Roman wants to come back. He wants his titles. He wants to beat Solo. He wants, everything's wrapped up into a nice. Dude. And he's like, that's nice. Now you got to get. You're not getting me. You haven't won anything. You've been gone. You want me, and then you do that feud, and you have Jacob say, "Hey, we're gonna air some family business. You kept me out of this company," and you blame Roman. The whole thing, you say, "You kept me out of this company."
They wouldn't do that, Josh. That's too cool. They wouldn't do it.
And
they wouldn't do it, man.
You kept yourself out of this company. Blah blah. The whole thing, you build it up, and you still have Roman win. You still have, and that's but you have him stand there with Roman, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is a dude," and that's all you need is just for people to know he's a dude, and then you can do whatever, because you could do like down the line, you could do Gunther and Jacob. Can you imagine that? Just
oh my god. Have they ever? I don't remember that. Have you?
But probably not. I wouldn't think because Jacob would have came up like he would have been a thing after Gunther.
Yeah, because he really gained traction after Gunther already signed. So
right.
Yeah,
so
you're probably right.
So, but anyways, that's my take. You guys have any takes on this match other than the fact that fans didn't give two shits about it?
You love Roman coming back.
I will
that Roman
say,
pop was incredible. I'm not gonna lie, that was incredible.
Now, I will say that as much as I didn't like this match, I still thought Tribal Combat last year was a lot worse in terms of a SummerSlam main event because that was 30 minutes of awful stuff that culminated in a Russo swerve with the Jimmy Uso turn. So this was better than that, but that's not a high bar. That's not a high bar at all. So.
I laughed at Tangaloa. Tangaloa.
Oh, fucking up that spot.
Yeah.
So do you just like curve into that and just have him fuck up every spot now? Do you just lean into it? I would. That's what I would do too. I would be aware. Like just be aware and just have him be like. You can have him be like the Joker of, I should say, or the jester of the group, where he
the comic relief for the group.
Yeah, and I think that would be fine. But anyways, I thought the show was fine. I think
2 nights next year. Get ready.
Oh God, I
Hey,
am
man,
not, I am
hey,
not ready. I'm not
putting my
ready
foot
for
down
that.
right now. I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that. It's
Hey,
not
maybe
happening.
maybe
you'll
it'll
watch it.
be good,
You'll
and you'll feel like
Right.
you need to watch it.
No. You know, I'll do it. If we're like huge then, like we're like big and shit, people want me to watch it, I'll watch it. But
I will.
if we're around where we are now, I'm not watching that shit. Hell
I
no.
will say this.
No
I
way.
will say this about SummerSlam Cleveland. Even on and Cage Match has kind of fixed itself, but it still has the issues. It's at a 6.97. So this is not a loved.
That's a
show.
solid. That's not a bad. That's not a bad score.
That's not a
fair.
bad
Right.
score, but that's probably where it should be. But given where WWE has been, and the main event is at a 5.35. So that's
I'm actually shocked by
that's
that.
like a 2. And then let's see the Punk match. The Punk match is higher. It's a 6.72. So
Ew.
I guess
Vastly
people were
overrated.
into that bracelet. So
I mean, Shot said vastly overrated.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. Like I said, I mean, it's Cage Match has tried to fix itself, so it's a little bit more, I would say, accurate than it was. But anyways, that was SummerSlam.
Check back in Survivor Series.
There you go.
If the card is decent.
If the card it's Survivor. We'll see. We'll see what kind of Survivor Series they do. We'll have a War Games match.
Oh, yeah,
It's
War Games.
yeah.
The only interesting thing is that they're doing Survivor Series in I think like Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
BC, I think they just announced that.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
that's
you know
sort of
what?
interesting.
You know what?
That London WrestleMania announcement is coming. Get ready for it.
Yeah, because Sami will probably be in the thingamabob. I know he's not from Vancouver, but he'll probably be in the War Games match
Other side of the country.
on Team Roman.
Okay, so I'm going to go on a little rant here about.
Oh man!
I was waiting for it. Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
At this point, we know what it is, but it still needs to go. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, you had the press conference. Nothing came out of this press conference.
I'm done watching press conferences on all accords. AEW, WWE.
Yeah, I'll watch if something happens. If these people actually start asking like questions that even if you make people squirm, I will watch because at least you made people squirm. We got nothing out of this. John Pollock wasn't even invited to this one. Again, this would be the second big show that he wasn't a lot like. They fixed it at WrestleMania, but apparently this time wasn't fixed. I guess Thurston got in, but didn't ask any questions. And those are the only two people that are going to ask any questions, so nothing was asked, which kind of sucked. Especially since now WWE is got federal investigations on it. And then also you had the stupidity that was Logan Paul and fucking Pat McAfee getting into this Olympic bullshit. And nobody, all of these people that want to like pretend that they're something that they're not really showed there's something that they're not. Because you can at least ask Paul. You can be like, hey, these two people said some dumb shit. Do you have any just comments on them saying dumb shit? And if you don't know what they said, they both got on. I think did McAfee get on his show and rant about?
Yeah, he was on his show.
I think it was on his show
about this female Olympic boxer that all of these right-wing idiots, and that's exactly what they are, idiots, jumped on saying, "Oh, look, she's a trans woman who's being allowed to box." That wasn't the case. She has a legitimate genetic mutation which allows her to have more testosterone in her body. The Olympics tried to address this. I think it was either right before the last Olympics or right after the last Olympics, due to the fact that because of the way the Olympics works, they can't test everybody and every sport, because some of the sports, the governing, the Olympics aren't the governing body. They can't test them all for steroids all the time. And you would have, especially women, were cycling in such a way that by the time they got to the Olympics, their testosterone would be elevated a natural way because they had already kind of messed up their body to that extent. And this was a way to address that. And then people were like, yes, but you have these women that naturally just have this issue. That's what happened here. All of these people jumped on being absolutely dumbass idiots. If you wanted to politicize the Olympics, there's a lot more shit going on in the Olympics, especially if you get into what's going on in the Olympic Village with the food situation. The fact that I guess people in Paris, of all places, did realize that if you're going to have beds at the Olympic Village, the beds need to be ready for Olympic sex. And I mean that exactly how it sounds, because you got top level athletes, and
the most
that's what
athletic
happens.
sex known to man.
That's what happens in the Olympic Village. That's not a secret. And then even before the Olympics, they were trying to limit the amount of air conditioners they were going to use. It was there's a whole lot of that stuff that you could focus on. And to me, that would make more sense than this poor woman who you're just being a complete ass clowns to. And you can't even ask that question at these. And I get people say, well, this isn't the place. No, you know what? It is the place. These are two highly featured people on your show that said some dumbass shit. And to Markeem's point that he has made pretty much since we started doing this, if Chris Jericho had said this bullshit, freaking Tony Khan wouldn't be able to not say shit about this. That is the double standard of these two companies. And the very people that say it's not the place to ask, Paul Levesque, would be up in arms saying, no, Tony needs to be asked about this because everyone hates freaking Chris Jericho. And oh my God. And to an extent, the AEW fans would demand it because they demand better of AEW. And I think that's one of my biggest problems with
for the most part. For the most part.
I'm just saying, but there's a section of AEW fans that would demand that,
Oh, it's definitely a louder section of 100%.
That would demand better. They would be like, no, you can't have talent saying this. Not only, I can't imagine any AEW talent saying that with Nyla Rose being in that locker room, because I would imagine that if you said something that
she probably whooped their ass anyway.
Those fans are okay with it because he lost his championship at the show. And that was a big deal for them. It was like, oh, they need to take the title off of him and put it on LA Knight. So now that happens, honestly, for them, it's probably not even a big deal at this point.
Probably.
Because they took this belt, this imaginary belt, off of the guy who said this stuff. They're not going to bring...
That he probably was going to lose anyway.
Right, exactly.
But I'm just saying that's to me, you want to talk about like the difference between the two fan bases. That's a big difference. And the fact that you've got these just absolutely cowards that, do what we're doing right now or do content media or whatever. And they're cowards. That's what they are. They're absolute cowards. I understand that they're like, well, that doesn't do well in numbers. Who gives a shit? Have some dignity about yourself and actually talk about some important shit, because we would all tell you, if Chase was here, he would tell you, pretty much all of us would come here and tell you, we want pro wrestling to be better. It doesn't get better if you don't demand better of pro wrestling. And pro wrestling is a carny piece of shit business, but it doesn't have to be this carny and that carny of piece of shit business. There's levels to it. So there you go.
People don't take pro wrestling serious for a reason, and y'all give them more reason every time y'all do these things to not take pro wrestling seriously.
That stigma of pro wrestling fans, you guys move right into it. Like absolutely, who cares, whatever, all of that stuff. I guess we can talk about something I completely forgot to talk about, but the Shane McMahon thing.
And I'm, by the way, I'm just gonna step out real quick because I have to tend to my dog. She's I don't know if you hear I don't know if her howling's coming over she's fine, but she probably wants to go on a couch or something. So I'll be right back.
What do you like? To me, the only way, I've said this and people get mad, but the only way you bring him in is if you put him in a public role that Triple H was in under Vince. Basically, the guy that does the press conferences, the guy that is basically the media face of the company, because I think he would be much better at that than Tony is. But that's it. That's all you have him do. You don't have him do anything else, because I don't think you can trust him to do anything else. But that would be the only reason that.
I caution on the side of not having a McMahon in this company. That was probably the best bet to do.
Right.
But if you're gonna do something, then yeah, that would probably be the best thing that you could do. Just something just media facing, but not have like any type of control over like company storyline, not being a performer or anything like that. Just kind of being like that public face. So that will probably be the best thing that he could potentially do. But again, it's probably best not to.
I don't even want him to be like the on-screen GM or anything like that. He needs to just be basically the Triple H role under Vince, which didn't have any real power, but was the guy that you put out there to answer all the questions and to not be Vince.
Right. And on-screen GM, it's again like that other spot. So I definitely don't want them to do that. But I'm torn. I'm like you, Jack. First off, right off the gate, do not do this shit. But if you must, I think Josh's idea is pretty good. But man, like if Tony gets the right person in his ear, like what pops a bigger rating than Shane McMahon?
Right.
You know what I mean? And like if you must do it for 1 week, have him come out there, maybe say some shit, and then that's it. Then you never see him on camera again. But I think if they actually used him, I don't know if Tony Khan resists that urge, because that company has done a lot of shit that Tony Khan did not do before, because the right people were like this in his ears. So I don't know if he can resist the urge, because they might bring him out there, they pop a big ass number, and he goes, "Well, let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Right.
Let's have him manage the elite." You know what I mean? So because I heard that one too, which is
right. Or wrestling Darby and stuff like.
Oh my god! But I tell you what, y'all think I've been mean and yelling about AEW before? Shit, listen here. If I see Shane McMahon versus Darby Allin, or Shane McMahon managing fucking Matt Nick Jackson, oh no, I'm officially done with the week to week. I'm not even watching it on replay. Like I'm out.
Here's my thing about this too. People are all about this, but. And people are even like, no, this might not actually be like a bad idea. But the idea, and this kind of amazes me because it shows how much people don't pay attention. When the stuff about like MVP and Lashley coming in, and people were just like, oh, I don't know if that would work. And I'm sitting here thinking, because I've followed MVP on social media for a long time, I'm like, you know what? I don't know if Tony would do this. I don't know if he would be comfortable with doing this, but you let that guy, give him a mic, let him do the Hurt Business the way he wants to do it. Let him be the heel that is actually maybe saying some truths that people don't want to hear. I think that would be interesting. And I think he would thrive at that. But you would have to do it that way.
I think honestly, if they bring in Lashley and MVP, you want Ring of Honor to matter, right? Put them on Ring of Honor. Put them with Shane Taylor and
Lee Moriarty.
Yeah, Lee Moriarty. Put them with them. That's the perfect way to do it. Have Lee Moriarty be the understudy. Maybe have Lashley compete for the world title. And you know what? Fuck, give it to him for a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got nobody else on the roster, you know what I mean, that I would say, is worth that. Lashley as the ROH champion would definitely get eyes on ROH. 100%.
And then they've talked about integrating both.
He's not bad. He's not bad.
You can still have him on like the bigger shows. You know what I mean? Like he could still like defend the Ring of Honor title on.
And that could be part of the thing of why are we on Ring of Honor? Why are we
like
not
the real
on?
That's so perfect.
Yeah.
Because you imagine MVP. Oh, they put us on Ring of Honor. They don't want y'all to hear what I got to say. That'd be so perfect, man.
Right.
Oh my god.
I mean, if you've never heard MVP like go off, it's something to hear. You don't have to agree with him, but it's something to hear, because he's very articulate. He knows how to do that in a way that is not too in your face, but is still in your face. That I think it would be very, very interesting. So,
I think at least for me, I think with specifically Lashley and MVP, and I guess Shane too, if you want to lump him in. I guess my thing generally is that right now bringing them in just wouldn't be a great look in the sense that, you know, who is either on their way out of AEW or rumored to be on their way out. It's a lot of younger guys, and I guess Penta is closer to 40, and Phoenix isn't exactly a young guy, but you get what I'm saying. And Lashley and MVP are up there in age, and with Shane, there was definitely a point when I was a kid where I don't want to say really into Shane, but I enjoyed Shane. I don't know if it's just the fact, and people have said he's been very popular at points. I don't know if it's just because of the fact that, you know, he's basically the world's richest backyarder, and people live vicariously through him in that way. I don't know. Maybe that's part of why I was into him. I don't know, but you know, there was definitely a point where I enjoyed Shane, but we have to remember that this is the same guy who 2 years ago tore both his quads, doing practically nothing at the start of a match. So I think his time has passed, and I don't think bringing him in would be a good idea. And I don't necessarily hate the MVP and Lashley stuff that you guys have been talking about, but again, I think the perception with you know Lucha Brothers and Ricky Starks and potentially Daniel Garcia.
He's bringing in WWE guys and getting rid of his other.
But that's going to happen, man. When the biggest company has all these talent, I mean, that's just going to happen. That you're going to sign these talent when they become available.
And I know, you know, it's the business is obviously different than like 25 years ago, where these guys are you know, keeping their bodies in better shape for a lot longer than they used to. But it's still the perception that you're, you know, out of the guys who are rumored or potentially leaving, you know, like I said, I think Penta is 40, but the rest of them are like in their 30s. And then you're talking about bringing in, you know, a Lashley who's 50 or around 50. MVP was around the same age. A Shane McMahon who's older than that. So, not to say that you can't find decent ideas for them, but just perception-wise, it's right now. I personally think it's sort of would be a bad perception look for AEW to bring those guys in.
I hear you, Sean. Shane, I'm with you 100%. but Lashley and MVP, if it's all to make somebody, like pick a guy on the ROH roster, what harm does that do? You build Lashley, you have him come in, you build him up, and you use someone on the ROH roster and you make them. It's pro wrestling, man. It's not TNA where they never made anybody. we're talking in the sense that they plan to make someone here. So I think it's okay. I think it's all right. For the short term, you're right. For the short term, though, the perception and you know how people are going to talk. But the long term play, using Lashley for someone else, I'm with it. I think they should do it. I think they should.
Anyways, okay. Well, we can go right into what do you guys think of the Lucha Brothers news? To me, I don't know what else, you know. Here's the thing. It's clear that to me that I'm sure Penta doesn't want to be stuck in a tag team, even though that's probably like where he's best at. But in WWE, he can probably get away with not being in a tag team. If you know what I mean. And it's so hard. It's so hard for anyone to move up the roster in AEW just from you have to be that dude, and you have to be. And I love Penta, but I don't think he's that dude anymore. So
the one time you thought he was going to have a chance to do that, they did nothing with it. They did that quick angle with Cody when they were in Daly's place. That they may have had a match. I don't remember if not, but I just remember it didn't really go anywhere. And ever since, obviously, just been tag team. It's I don't think it's a huge loss. We need to have people jump back and forth. That's what keeps things healthy, keep people fresh and whatnot. And that's not to say he goes there and retires there. You can always go back to, AEW, AAA, or something like that. But for me, the main thing is like it frees up somebody else, like another spot. Like, hopefully, you would hope that Tony would put some emphasis on the tag division. I think that's one thing that he's lost sight of, is that whole tag division. So I can't really be upset with those guys moving there, but you would hope that it maybe brings up, maybe some other luchadors, whether it be Commander, or whether it be Hologram, or like the Beast Mortis or something like that. Just give them an opportunity for someone else to kind of step in that place where you had Penta and Phoenix for a very long time. I think the biggest thing is that I don't think it's a huge loss for the company, but there is a piece of the soul of AEW that will be lost with losing Penta and Phoenix, because they've been there from the very start. And 5 years has been a long time, and again, they haven't really done a whole lot recently. But still losing them, again, I feel like they're losing just a little piece of the soul that created this company. I think that's the bigger thing for me more than anything else.
I'm sad. I'm sad, man. The Pentagon is one of my favorite wrestlers of since Lucha Underground, and I love Phoenix, and I never wanted to see them in the place I hate the most. And when they filed those trademarks, I was thinking, oh, they want to work CMLL more, and maybe their names are an issue for CMLL because they've been AAA guys for so long. And then I was like, Markeem, you're being naive. You're being naive, man. They're going to be in NXT, and that hurts me.
Now that's to me, that's a problem. They should not be in it. They should not be.
That's where they're going. That's where they're going, man. They're going to be right in it. And it bothers me because at least we got to see them in CMLL in Arena Mexico one time before they went back. But I wanted to see more of them before they left. I wanted to see more of that.
We'll probably see, because I think they still have. I think they still have a while, so we'll see them again.
You sure? They might get iced. Like,
yeah, might be back here.
And CMLL. Well, but I think the thing with her is it's not so much that she left. I think it's the way. From all accounts, it's the way
they might make Penta and Phoenix do that though. They might. You don't know.
No, but it was the way she left. It was the fact that it was the fact of what do you mean? What's going on? That's not the way they do business. Usually, I mean, people jump in Mexico all the time, so it's not that and they don't. It's not that type of situation. So I would say that was a different situation. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But like Brandon said, man, not just the soul of AEW, but the soul of Anti. Where Pentagon and Phoenix, for like a decade now. Like, you got people like George Kittle, you know what I mean, saying that fucking Pentagon's his favorite wrestler, wearing Pentagon, and this was before AEW was even a thing. Like, they were like the Young Bucks, like the Mexican Young Bucks in many ways. Like, these dudes are the opposite of everything that place is, and now they're just part of it, man. It hurts. It hurts right here, man. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It'll be on NXT. NXT is running. They're going to sell out those buildings.
Well, I mean, they announced Punk and they announced Orton for both of those.
Sold out.
Yeah, and I think for that second show, I don't think Orton's going to be the only main roster guy there, because that show's going head to head with Dynamite. So,
I mean, that'll probably be.
And if last year was any indication, they're going to put every big name they have on that show.
As they should.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, I would do the same thing. So, but we'll see. We'll see how everything goes with that. Hopefully, if they want to sign all of this talent for NXT for this show, hopefully they improve the show, because of the show as it is now. Like, even if you put better talent on the show, I don't think the show is still structured in a way that is. From everything I see from clips and stuff that I
but then aren't they gonna, if they're signing all this talent and they're putting them in NXT, aren't they gonna run into the same problem they ran in with Black and Gold NXT, where they have all these guys in there, and it's not a developmental show anymore?
I mean, it's not. It's I mean, it's been more successful as it is now. As much as I think all of us hate it, as much as most of the I would say diehard pro wrestling fans hate it. It's more successful now than it was under Black and Gold, other than the takeovers. So that I think that I mean, as far as a TV product goes, so there's that. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe Triple H tries to make it Black and Gold again, and we find out that that's not what WWE fans want. And it goes.
I don't. You know what?
I don't know.
And I'd be there. I'd be there.
They might want that.
Give me what they don't want. Give me that.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I see NXT and I'm just like, what is this thing? All right. So, Markeem and Sean, what tell us some G1 stuff, because I'm way behind now. So,
Sean, you want to go first?
I've seen everything except the top two matches from today's show, which those matches were, I think, Naito, Umino, and then Shingo and Sonata. The one thing I'll say about the tournament, the floor has been higher, even though that there were definitely some matches early on that were not very good, and mainly involving Jake Lee. But I will say about Jake Lee, I have to be fair. After those first three matches, all of his matches since have been good. I have to say
good.
Well, I consider
or not as bad.
Anything above 3 stars or 3 stars or higher to be good. Like, he's not putting out. He hasn't been putting out like these classics or anything, but he's been having like these last couple matches they've been better. And in fact, I would say that the match he had today with Gabe Kidd was like easily his best match so far. And the first time in this entire tournament that he felt like he was wrestling with any sort of energy.
Well, that's because Gabe brought it out of, and you're cheating him. See, Sean's not being genuine right now because that match is less than 5 minutes.
Well, to be fair, it was like they brawled for longer than the match was on the floor, but it was hot, and maybe that was just because it was a Cork and Hall show. Yeah. So maybe that was part of it. But I would say Takeshita has easily been the MVP of the tournament so far. I don't think it's even close. I think the only person who's close is probably Shingo. I think every match Takeshita has been at least 4 stars or better. Like, he's had a phenomenal tournament, and like we said earlier, the match with Goto was phenomenal. Right now, that's my match of the tournament.
David Finlay, for what I've seen, has been pretty good.
He's been pretty good. I'd say David Finlay's been pretty good overall. Definitely better than I was expecting. It's kind of hard to tell what's going to happen at this stage because they've really booked everybody really close. Evil and Zach were a little bit ahead of the pack for the first half of the tour, but then now Evil's lost his next 2, and personally, I think Evil's going to lose out just based on who he has left. So I don't think he's going to make the playoff.
Who's his last match? Who's his last match?
I don't know the order, but I know he has Umino and Shingo left. And I believe Umino lost tonight or on today's show, as did Shingo. No, actually, let me check the results here. I don't
know. He could beat Shingo to get his win back, though. They might do that.
Yeah, but the thing is, the way the tournament's been playing out, and I was just double checking. Yeah, Umino and Shingo both lost on today's show, and they're at 6 points. But the way the tournament has been booked, everything's been close. B block more so than A block. B block's been just a giant blob where everyone's like trading wins basically, and A block again. Zach and Evil were sort of slightly ahead of the pack, but now the pack is sort of catching back up to them. Just based on how it's been booked, I think Evil is going to lose out. And I think, because the thing is, if Evil wins one more match, he's in the playoff.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to put him in this year just because they did that story last year where he made the playoff and he went to the semifinals. So I don't think they're going to do that same story 2 years in a row. So I think just based on how the tournament has been booked, Evil's probably, at least I think Evil's probably going to lose. But yeah, it's just hard to tell because again, everything like and this is a tournament I remember. It's not like, for example, 2014, I think it was, where Okada and AJ were in the same block, and they were like, by the time it ended, they were like 6 points ahead of everyone else. Like they were clearly the head of the field in their block, and everyone else was just kind of fighting for scraps. Whereas, this year there's nobody really that's, gaining a big lead. And maybe they're booking it this way just because there's 3 people from each block going through. But yeah, right now I'd say it's really unpredictable. And right now I think Cal Newman got eliminated today, but he's the only one. He's literally the only one that's out right now. Everyone else is pretty much still alive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, like I said,
I can't wait till you watch Sonata and Shingo though, because I want to know what you think. I can't wait till you watch it.
Yeah, but like I said, like the tournament, like I don't even think like Evil's been that bad. I don't think, and again, I think Jake Lee, maybe it was just because of who he was matched up with early, but I think since his match with Zach, he's had a good tournament. But yeah, the floor has definitely been higher, though you're not getting, at least up until the last few shows, you're not getting those epic, G1 matches that would be, near match of the year conversation or anything like that. There have been a lot of great matches, but they're not,
nothing has gone through that threshold of what you expect for the G1.
Yeah, type of like a Kenny Ishii match or something like that from years past.
But how much of that is like unrealistic expectations? Like what you guys are saying, like to me, if you have a tournament where you have a lot of great matches, that's really good. Where some of these G1s that people are like, oh, it's not, these G1s from a couple of years ago. That was going to be
my take, Josh. I think that people are really sleeping on how good this tournament has been. All these shows have been so easy to get through. Mm-hmm. So many really good matches. A couple really great ones. I thought, and part of it was watching it with my woman because she was so into it. But I really love Suji and Finley. That
was a great match. Mm-hmm.
The one we talked about, Goto and Takeshita today. Takeshita and Yuya Uemura and
that's still my favorite one.
What was some other pretty much any Takeshita match. My biggest issue with this tournament is that this was when they were supposed to establish a hierarchy, and the problem, like Sean said, everyone is so close together. There is no hierarchy. Now the younger guys, they've done better with them than they did last year because they all feel like, hey, they could beat anybody or any day. But I want them to really establish this is the one we see above this one, and this is the one we see. They didn't do any of that. And maybe it'll all make sense when we get to the end.
Yeah.
But all I know is that the final better have at least one of them. Because if they don't, then they fail. They fail.
Yeah. That's sort of my feeling as well. Is I actually really, and from I don't know what's going to happen standpoint, I actually really enjoy how it's playing out because I generally don't know how it's going to play out, and maybe
I don't either. No clue.
And maybe part of that too is just down to the fact that so many of the usual guys are not in it this year. That's when I did the pick'em for Sport or Pro Wrestling. It was literally just a shot in the dark. Because I have no idea where they see people and who's going to be who. With that, I just made educated guesses. But I do get the other side though, where they're not establishing someone as the clear, like I said before, there's no clear guy leading the block or anything like that. But like Markeem said, I think I'm sort of waiting to see the end result of the blocks, and then hopefully by that point they'll show who, because when I was doing my pick'ems, I thought, oh well, what they could do is maybe give a guy like Uemura, he could win the block but not make it out of the playoffs, so that you can give them something while not having them win the tournament. So, but yeah, at this stage, I can't tell you who's going to win this thing.
How much time we have left? Like a week or so? To a couple weeks?
Yeah, so
The final is week next weekend or
I think so.
like
Yeah,
that?
A block has 2 matches left. B block has 3 matches left, and then they have the playoff shows, and then the final.
Gotcha.
So,
but it's a really good tournament, honestly.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to get back into New Japan, this is a good place to do it. This tournament.
I've enjoyed what I have watched. For me, most of my TV has been towards the Olympics, so I catch what I can. But what I've seen from this tournament, I've definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed it way more than the past couple of years, for sure.
Yeah, and what helps is that you don't, again, the floor is higher. You don't have like your Yanos or your Tangaloas or your Yujiros in there sticking up the joint.
Yujiro, man. Oh my god. Hey, I remember they had that topic on Twitter. Post a match with your favorite wrestler that is terrible, like a bad match with your favorite wrestler. I instantly went to Jay White versus Yujiro immediately. Immediately. So bad, man. He sucks, man. He sucks so bad.
Chase will be glad to hear you say that. That's
Well, Yoshihashi is.
No, he like Yoshihashi, yeah. Son of a bitch. Hating on Yoshihashi like that. Come on.
He's been like really good for like 3-4 years, man. I don't know why he just won't let it go.
Was a good tag team, man.
It's a really good tag team, man. I don't know why he just don't let it go. I don't get it.
He can't. It's Chase. He can't let shit go. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the fact of like AEW talent in CMLL, and I find it absolutely hilarious that like the opposite thing looks to be happening with CMLL and AEW that everyone accuses happens with New Japan and AEW, because all of the cool shit is happening in CMLL. And very little of the cool shit is happening in AEW. I mean, I don't care because I'll watch, but I'll watch the Friday shows. But it's super interesting. I think that's been the case.
Is that a trust thing? Make sure they can trust
maybe
AEW. So like, hey, let's just give them the line.
And I also wonder how much of it is guys in AEW they just want to go work.
Just want to work CMLL
on a Friday night. You wonder how much of it is that, especially like guys going there and coming back and saying, "Oh my God, this is like the best thing ever. We all need to go. We all need to go, and we all need to do this thing."
Dude, I'm trying to tell my girl, let's go. And she speaks Spanish, so we can help us out. Come on, let's do it.
Right. I mean, like you don't need to speak Spanish. It's fine.
Because it's so funny because like CMLL is Sid Mystico and he'll never lose. Right. But they get like MJF and Willow and the Death Triangle and
you had the I mean and good shit. Like just you had the what was the ROH TV title match?
Fletcher and Atlantis Jr.
I mean that.
Woo! So good, man. So good.
I mean it's and I mean and CMLL is so good anyways that it's just they're not gonna win like promotion of the year, and they should, because it's so like
I don't know how this is sustainable though. Like every week it's been a great show.
Just pretty much
practically all year.
Pretty much all year. Like there's been some that have been kind of, but there's shows that they're dips, but they're dips for a purpose of leading to the next week, which is like a crazy show. It's like so just. Or
every time they release those cards, I feel like, man, this looks like a dream. Like this is crazy.
Like I don't like. I'm like, what's the anniversary show? Like what are they going to do for the anniversary shows? Because it seems insane. You would think that they would want like a big giant show, but these Friday shows are so big that like, what do you do for the anniversary show?
What do you do? Yeah, what do you do? It's a good point.
I mean, like, I'm sure they'll find something. I'm sure we'll have some, Mask versus.
I mean, they already got stuff announced for that.
Some, but I'm just saying that like, for that show to deliver, it has to deliver some ungodly, like before people are like, oh, this is just this doesn't feel like the anniversary show. It
Another
feels
good
like
show.
it's just another good show. Like it's not good enough. I would say.
Yeah, the only weird thing is that like they got Jericho and Mystico on that show, and it's not the main event. It's probably going to be like the actual. It's the main event for like us, but it's not going on last.
What's going on last? What do they have as the main
So they're
event?
doing a 4-way mask.
Oh,
match.
that
mask
match.
That mask. That AAA match in CMLL. That's what when I saw that was the first thing that came to my mind.
I just hope Hechicero doesn't lose.
I don't think it'll be him. It'll probably be there's somebody that's definitely looks like
you guys are Valiente, Euphoria, and Esfinge. Probably the other three.
Like I know who should lose that match, for it to be like a main event, but it's not going to happen.
Who should lose the match?
Esfinge should lose if you want it to really be a main event type moment, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're not doing that. Like they are not. Look at me. They are not doing that. You hear me? They are not. It's not going to happen.
I just think it's weird. Like that's just so weird. Because to me, those masks mean more than titles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you just lose the first? Why wouldn't it be a race to see who could lose first, so you don't have to worry about it? I mean,
the culture is different in Mexico, man. We need Cubs fan right now. We need Cubs fan. That's what we need.
No, even he was like, "What is this stupidity? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?" But I guess maybe. I know that's one of the matches that actually works for AAA, so maybe that's the idea behind it. Trying to, steal something that actually works for AAA, but whatever.
God, man. What a dumpster fire that shit is.
Remember that, remember 6 months ago, a couple of years ago, that when it was like really good, and then it just
AAA
fell apart. Yeah.
It's been a few years now, Josh.
It was it was a few years, but there was a point where it was like, hey,
yeah, it was good. It was good. When
it was at the same time
was main event every
CML, when CML was like falling apart from like CML was falling apart. Like that seems like so long ago, and it wasn't that long ago. Like CML looked like it was like we might be seeing something historic here because this company's been around forever, and it looks like.
The changing of the guard is happening.
Yeah,
but it didn't happen.
And did you see what came out recently that they're not booking Hugo as much anymore because of budgetary reasons?
Budgetary reasons, sure.
I mean, they don't have money. That's probably the first honest thing they've reported.
Also, Conan needs to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah. He doesn't help. He doesn't help his cause.
He said, "What goes around comes around again," and all of a sudden, Lucha Bros are leaving the territory.
I'm just tired of him critiquing people's booking. Like you need to shut up. Like you shut the fuck up. Seriously.
Now we got brother Devon Dudley talking bullshit now. Like all these dudes gotta just stop giving people a microphone, man. Everyone don't need one.
Especially if you're like. I'd be like, dude, if you're one of Paul Heyman's students and you can't get a job doing the thing, and if the only guy that can get a job is absolutely shit at it, and Tommy Dreamer, that means all of you are complete garbage and learned nothing. learned nothing. The coffee guy was the only one that seemed to learn a little bit, and then eventually I don't know, fell apart too. So who knows? What else do we have on here?
I think that might be it. Anything else?
Yeah, other than Batman, we could talk Batman.
All right, Josh, you go ahead and tell the world why you're wrong, Josh.
I'm not wrong.
Go ahead, man.
I'm not wrong. Harvey Dent in this show is no good.
Okay, all right. So
I got
we're talking about Batman Cape Crusader. Talking about that. So I think it's an amazing show.
It is amazing. It's a great show.
He's gonna tell you why he thinks Harvey Dent is bad, and I'm gonna tell him why he's wrong. Go ahead.
How am I wrong? You're missing the
tell the world. Go ahead.
You're missing the main dynamic of why Two-Face works. You're missing that because he's a complete jackass in this show.
Yes, I know. But go ahead, Josh.
Why you want him to? You
tell him
want
why
him
it doesn't work.
You want him to be. You want him to be. You want the Frank Miller thing where he's already Two-Face and him turning into Two-Face just makes it. That's what you want. What?
I mean, yes and no. But I thought for the context of this show, it worked because he was a guy who felt like he was untouchable. And they don't usually do that with Two-Face. Most of the time, he has like darkness inside of him and it's like already there. And that always works. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it doesn't. But he has like, this darkness inside of him and the accident kind of makes it come out to the forefront. None of this was in him at all. He was smug. He thought he couldn't be touched. He thought he could challenge the mob and all this stuff. And then the accident really brought to the forefront that he's not sure of himself, that he has no confidence, that he always thinks people are pointing and laughing at him and staring at him and think the accident is what brought it to the front, Josh. That's why it worked here, Josh. The only thing I didn't like, the only thing I didn't like about Two-Face in the show was his design. I didn't really like it, but I think the reason why I didn't like it though is not necessarily the show's fault, because they wanted it to look like how someone would look if they got acid poured on their face. Because like honestly,
instead of doing me and my wife were talking about this, that she saw him, was like, what? Because she doesn't look. This is exactly what she said, and she was absolutely right. He doesn't look like a Dick Tracy villain. And I was
exactly.
And I'm like, yeah, he should look like a Dick Tracy villain. You're absolutely right. He should.
But they wanted him to look like how you would look. Because Harvey did. He looks like a cartoon every time they do the Two-Face thing. He looks cartoon. Even in the Dark Knight, he looked like
right here.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. And they wanted, most of the time he looks like fucking cartoon character. This time they wanted it to look kind of realistic. So I let it go. I just didn't like how it looked. But other than that, I thought he was great. Thought everyone was great, Josh. Every single character.
What
are you talking about?
Look, we're getting to Two-Face, so it'll be fine. I just don't like that. I just didn't like that aspect, and that he was on the show all the time like that, and it bothered me. It was the only thing that bothered me. Hey, I'm not on here being one of these people that's gonna be all pissy about Harley Quinn. Even though she was
the best take of Harley Quinn in years.
She was perfect. I'm absolutely like. I think people are scared. They're like, oh, well, this doesn't make sense for like down the line. And I'm like, actually, this makes perfect sense for down the line.
Especially because they set up her and Montoya. Like that's going to be a thing later on. They set that up. So Montoya's going to have, because they never showed Montoya finding out what everyone knew. Like they never showed that. She will find out and she'll have that kind of dilemma. Like, hey, I really like this chick. And, what am I going to do? See?
Right. Like
people are so used to seeing Harley Quinn one way, though. They didn't want to be challenged at all. And that bothered me.
They need to all see, but we've read it. They need to all go read Harleen. Because if you read Harleen, you see the way she really should be written all the time, where it makes it's weird because probably one of the better like overall takes of her as a character was actually in that first Suicide Squad movie when Amanda's like talking about her and talking about why she's dangerous and talking about like the difference between her and Joker and all of this stuff. That's so like perfect. It's probably one of the only good things about that show.
Yeah, it's too bad the movie didn't follow up on that, but yeah, you're right.
Right. It's so perfect because it explains exactly like who she is, what she is,
what
like,
makes her different.
Is that what you're talking about? Harleen?
Yeah,
is this
Harleen,
it right
here?
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, it's like
up over there.
Yeah,
Did you read it, Sean? Did you read it?
I have a lot of books that I haven't read, so but it's on my shelf. It's right
That's
there.
my.
Right there. I think I flipped through it.
I got her that for Christmas one year because she, she's of that age where she like loves Harley Quinn, and I was like, well, I'll get you this. It's probably she was probably 17. I said this kind of not what you're used to because it's probably a little bit more adult, and she absolutely was like, this is so awesome because it's her as Dr. Quinn. It's not her as Harley, but explains how
the muse.
Yeah, but it explains how he turns her into that, and also the fact that there were elements of her already there. They like tease stuff with her and Ivy, where she's like, that's like one of the best parts of the books, where Ivy like she thinks Ivy's using her powers on her, and then Ivy's like, my powers don't work on women, and and she's just sitting there like terrified because she's not ready for that. And
that's part of why the Harley Quinn show that everybody loves, including me, that works too, because they kind of took a comedic take on that. Yeah, I mean,
the book is literally done by the guy that you can think the Ivy Harley thing. He's the reason why it exists, even though it was never meant to be a thing. He just did it as like a joke, started posting it on Twitter and other social media, and people were like, "Oh no, this."
Did you see the creators of the show? They were like, "Yeah, we read Harleen, and that's why we wanted to make this show in the first place." So
yeah,
you can thank him.
He's super underrated. On top of it, I can never pronounce his name, but he's super underrated.
Don't ask me to right now either. But yeah, he is underrated.
he's super underrated. But anyway,
but that show is incredible. It's 10 episodes. Everyone is 30 minutes long. It
seems Batman. Less than that. It seems 22 minutes. So
yeah, about 22, 25 or something like that. So, but it's a unique take on all of the Batman tropes that
right?
And I cannot
like the stuff they do with Barbara Gordon is really, really good. Really, I think fleshes her out.
The Basil Carlo episode that I won't ruin. I loved it, man.
That's really, really good. Like I was like, oh, this is
because they lean into the Vincent Price thing. They lean into it. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It was. If you know the character, they lean.
Well, I was like,
it.
huh? He's not him. And I was like, and then eventually we get to the point where I was like, oh.
I do think eventually that he'll be full on him.
Oh, he is. I mean, he kind of was by the end. Yeah. I even like the thing that I thought people would be really upset about that they aren't upset about.
This is a little mini review of Cape Crusader, y'all. Just real quick. Is
the take on Penguin, because it's probably
I loved it. That was perfect.
It's kind of the Penguin that you've got in the Batman, the movie. It is kind of like, but in a very comic book way, and a very over the top comic book way.
It was the way I looked at it. It was almost like what the Penguin wishes he was, because
right.
I love the Penguin, but the thing about the Penguin is that he's inadequate. He always fucks up. Nobody likes him. All that stuff. But this version of the Penguin, she's sexy. She's desired by men. She's the king of crime in Gotham at the time, and all that stuff. All the stuff that the Penguin wants, that I'm sure that show will be about in some sort of way.
My youngest daughter brought this up after we were watching it, and she was like, "I like the way they do all these characters. I'm really wonder how they're going to do the Riddler." And I'm like, "Oh, pretty sure I know how they're going to do the Riddler if they do the Riddler, and it'll be."
What you mean?
It'll I think they're going to get that Riddler that is very not over the top, very dry.
Oh, okay, I got you.
That the dangerous Riddler. Let me put it that way. The one that knows everything but doesn't like to. But you mean, that's not part of the game. But that's not part of the game.
You mean like the one from like the early 2000s where they, you know, they kind of, I got you.
Yeah, where
I'd be with it.
Where he knows more than what, like he probably knows who Bruce Wayne is. He probably knows that that's Batman, but that's not part of the game. That's not part of what he's about. That doesn't matter to him because it's all about the game. It's all about proving that he's the smartest person in the room, even if it's just to himself. So,
all right. So real quick before we get out of here, I got to ask you, Josh, without spoiling, what did you think about the tease at the end of the show? What did you think? Don't spoil it.
I figured we were getting it.
Talk around it.
I figured we were getting it because just because it's Batman, so I figured we were getting it. But I think it was interesting.
Thank you. That's how I felt too.
The 10-year-old looked at me and said, did what happened just what I think happened? And I was like,
is that what I think it is?
Is that what I think? And I'm like, yeah, pretty sure.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, this is so perfect because this is a way that this has never been done. And if they stick this landing, man, this might be the best way because the other way has been done to death in so many ways. And this
Are you talking about Bruce Wayne's parents getting killed? No, they did.
No. They're already dead. They already
did that. Though they've added a little bit of intrigue. I will say this: they've added a little bit of intrigue to that probably hasn't been there for a while. And they've only hinted at it. They've only like that maybe there was more to it than what we know. And they sometimes do that, but when they do it, they're very overbearing with it.
You mean like the Telltale game? You mean like Batman Telltale?
or our favorite owl people, or you know, instead of
calm down, chill out now.
I'm just saying.
We were having fun here.
I'm just saying that you go into that and it's just like, why are we doing this? Just it's better if you know, because then you have to set all that up with the families and everything. But anyways, but yeah, that's how I would put it.
That's the type of, you know, energy you get when me and Josh just talk about comic stuff. So the next time we do it, that's what you get.
And it'll be when I finally, which will probably might be tomorrow. I don't know. It probably won't be tomorrow. It'll be sometime. I would imagine sometime next week we'll be back and we'll talk Deadpool and all of.
Oh yeah. I guess we have. I
can talk about that. I ain't never seen the movie because it's been spoiled all online. So.
Oh really?
I mean, I saw it.
I wasn't like stressing to watch the movie, but the fact that it's been so spoiled online, it's just like,
because it's I get it. Yeah, it's a big deal.
I'll just say, if you like the first two, I see no reason why you won't like this one.
See, I don't love
That's what everyone has.
I had a good time. I saw it.
I was very about it. I will say this, and I pretty much know because I know all the spoilers and everything for the most part.
Yeah.
My best friend. Seen it either?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
because I was literally going to go see it. When was that? Not last Sunday. And
it's
I
only
got
been
sick.
It's only been out for like a week.
Yeah, I got whenever I was going to go see, whatever Sunday I was going to go see it, I was sick, so I couldn't go see it.
I saw it the second I tested negative for COVID. I was like, oh, I can go out now.
So, but my best friend from Houston, he called. Now he's the biggest Wolverine mark you will ever meet. Like, I had to warn him about 97. I had to warn him about what was going to happen in 97 because I know I told him, I'm saying, dude, something's going to happen and you're not going to want anybody around. And he's like, and he thought he got to a point and he thought it was Gambit. And he was like, that was pretty impactful. And, I got a little misty-eyed. And I'm like, what? And he's like, when Gambit died. And I'm like,
that we never thought would happen on screen. If you've seen the show, I never, ever thought that they would ever do that in anything that was not a comic book.
On the Discord, I saw
crazy.
it before because of course, I'm a vampire. So I saw it like early in the morning. And I just posted on the Discord, they did the thing. And everyone was like, they did the thing. What do you mean they did the thing? I'm like, they did the thing. And then Marquis saw it.
And I was like, whoa, they did the thing. I still can't believe that, bro. I still can't believe it.
Oh, no, he almost gave up X-Men comics because of when that happened in the comics.
Oh, I mean, do you blame him, though?
No. I mean, he was just like, what just happened? So I was like, I warned him. I was like, dude, that's not what I was talking about. Something's going to happen, and you're not going to want, like, I don't know if you're watching it with your wife or you're watching it with your kids.
Don't know how you're going to feel about this.
I don't know how you're going to feel about this. And he was like, and he basically just texted me the same thing of, they did the thing. And I'm like, they did the thing. And he was like, he actually liked it because he was like, they basically, how they slowed it down and basically just did the thing from the comic. It was literally just the still from the comic. He
right
that.
from it. Right. Even Magneto's face is like the same.
Right.
They took it the exact. It was awesome.
It was so.
Awesome.
But he.
All right, for real. Last thing, and I promise that's it. Because I must know. I got all of you here because y'all can talk about this. How we feel about RDJ?
About what?
RDJ.
As someone who's been very, very checked out on Marvel since Endgame, it didn't really hit as hard for me as I feel like the diehard fans who are still into what they're presenting on film. But I don't know. It seems like a cheap pop at this point. But also, I don't know. I'm not a comic book guy, so I don't know what's to come. Like people talking about variants on Doctor Doom. I'm aware of Doctor Doom, but I don't know how that story can actually progress. So just seeing that they're bringing him back to be this character, it feels like a cheap pop for sure. But
I think that's part of it. I definitely think that's part of it. But I think they know that too. They seem to like.
Sean, what do you think? I'm curious. What do you think about it?
I guess that combined with them bringing back the Russo brothers definitely gives me the vibe of them realizing, like, wrestling, like, oh, the territory's been kind of not hot after Endgame. We need to light up the territory again. So we bring back people who were successful the first time.
Right. Very fan service.
Put the belt on a Von Erich. That's what that is. Put the belt. Right. Oh man.
All right, honestly, it's not like Marvel has been. I don't think Marvel since Endgame has been terrible, but them bringing those guys back definitely gives me vibes of what's his face? Jamie, not Jamie Kellner. Who's the other guy from WCW who was on the death of who killed WCW? The Brad Siegel. It definitely gave me vibes of Brad Siegel like asking Eric Bischoff to come back because he was the successful guy before.
Yeah.
So
well, I think I think me and Markeem have talked about this. One of the issues with the movies after Endgame, they weren't leading to anything. Like there were no there's no hints leading. They literally, and I understand they didn't want to do this with Endgame because they wanted it to be the end. But I firmly believe, especially now that there needed to be a Fantastic Four tease of some sort at the end of that movie because that's definitely where everyone knew it was going. I don't care what it was, but there needed to be a tease of some sort because to let people know. And then every movie needed to be to that. We're going to the Fantastic Four. We're going to to me that's because you needed to be going in it somewhere because that's the thing that really hooked people was what tease are we going to get? What's the next little tease thing we're going to get? Because the teases we've gotten have been pretty like uneventful because most people don't get them. Like not like me and Markeem and maybe like 10% of the people that saw Eternals understood like at the end of that movie exactly
who that
the
was
first teaser. The first teaser which is the most awesome. Like, people don't understand how great that teaser is, because you got the version of that character that I literally never thought, if they put him on screen,
I didn't think that,
we would get that version.
Being honest, with what society is today, never thought they would do that. Never thought they would do that. So yeah, there's that.
If that, but then you have the other tease, which is the Black Knight tease, who nobody knows who the fucking Black Knight is.
Nope.
Nobody understands like the importance of like that character, especially through the Avengers.
The Ebony Blade, the fact that Blade was the one that was talking to him. People don't understand what any of that means.
People don't understand any of that. So you have all of that, but I think it can work. But like Brandon said, you got the variance thing. But even beyond that, because if you're not going to do souped up, crazy science with magic Doctor Doom, which I'm guessing if they're doing a Stark variant, we're not getting that. The best way to do that is to have Doom be a guy who we all know who Tony Stark is. If the story is, here's a Tony Stark that always played second fiddle to Reed Richards and couldn't handle it because Tony is an egomaniac. He is. That's one of his faults.
Okay, all right. Okay.
That's one of his faults. That's one of his faults, and that's an easy way for him to fall into becoming Doctor Doom. I would rather have the Doctor Doom that is the big bad, because he is every bit as smart as not Reed Richards, but Tony Stark, and he's every bit of the sorcerer that Doctor Strange is. I would much rather have that character, because that's a scary, like, you don't think of him as a scary character, but he's a scary character. Because you don't have a lot of magic villains left unless you do there's different versions of Dracula in Marvel. You've got like the modern version, which is scary in a godlike way. And then you've got like the 70s version, which is scary in more of a Doctor Strange type way. But they're very different type of characters. But anyways, I'm getting off on a rant.
I guess the only weird thing I saw is that Galactus is supposed to be in this Fantastic Four movie. I thought I saw somewhere that mentioned that in the MCU, like the one that's in the Fantastic Four universe is the only Galactus in the multiverse. So so that actually kind of makes sense in a really confusing way. If they really
go with the lore, right? Galactus was one of at the dawn of creation, right? There was the one above all. There was eternity, and I'm gonna be real nerdy real quick, but there was the one above all. There was eternity. There were
you have to understand
the Celestials too, right, Josh?
Right, because it's eternity, and eternity is death and who's the other one? It's death and
I don't remember.
It's not because it's not eternity. It's not death and eternity. It's death and whoever the other person is. Combined make eternity. And
the living tribunal, right? Isn't it the living tribunal?
Whatever it is. I think I'm getting my lore messed up. But then you have Galactus, and then
Galactus is one of the basically what we said. Galactus is one of the things that was created at the dawn of creation of Marvel Comics. So he exists
predates the Big Bang.
He exists in a plane that does not involve the multiverse. Like he exists out of it. He can travel through universes through
And I guess the only reason why I bring that up is because I wonder if like this Doctor Doom, and I guess this Doctor Doom that we're getting is coming from the Fantastic Four universe that they're setting this in. So I guess I'm just wondering, like, if this is like, unlike Kang, where there's all these Kangs that we saw in like Ant-Man and whatever. I wonder if this is going to be like the only Doctor Doom in the multiverse.
And that's my point. That's my point. Okay, when you announced that you're doing Avengers Secret War, right? I think two things: Battle World, that's not happening, And I think the 2015 comic, the one where Doom becomes the souped up version of himself and kills everybody, and they have that amazing finale with him and Reed Richards at the beginning of everything, right? But I think they should do that different. I won't get into it here. But with that, what made Dr. Doom so special and more powerful than everybody else in the multiverse is that you find out that Victor Von Doom, the Marvel Comics one, the one that we've seen through all these years, is the only real one. If you take the multiverse, right, you think about Ultimate Doom. That's Reed Richards when Reed Richards turned, evil and all that stuff. You think about the one from the 1600s, the 1602 universe. That's that I think that was Doctor Strange. It's not Victor Von Doom though.
Right.
You take the one from the future. That's not Victor Von Doom. That's someone else. I can't remember his name. But the only Victor Von Doom is the 616 one, and that gave him the ability to harness the multiverse himself because there's no other version of himself. It's almost like the Jet Li movie, The One. It works almost like that. So by that metric, when everything imploded on himself, it was just him. So he was just way more powerful than everybody else. I hope that's what they do. I just have my doubts. I feel like it's going to be like a bunch of them.
You brought up the Galactus thing, and this is supposed to be like the Galactus that if they do that, that makes me wonder if they're going to do some Doctor Who shit and we're going to get the other Galactus from Earth X.
Oh. They're not doing that, man.
I'm just saying.
Josh fantasy booking now. They're not doing it. It's too much to explain, man.
I mean, people would be completely lost if they did that because they wouldn't get it because you have to understand who it is once once Galactus takes off that helmet and it's like, oh.
It's too much to explain. It's
too much.
But we have talked for so long.
Yes. Yeah.
But we'll do a comic book cast at some point.
Yeah.
And
once I see the movie, I'll let Markeem know and we'll jump on and we'll do one because we got a lot of there's other stuff to talk about. I'm sure. I'm trying to think because we got that stupid animated horror team thing that DC announced that I was right about Gunn. That proves I was right because
you talking? We hadn't seen it yet, Josh. You can't say we hadn't seen it yet.
I don't have to see it. What did he do to Frankenstein? Because
oh my god, man!
I was right.
Wait till you see it. Wait till you see it.
Okay, and then if I'm right,
I'll say you're right.
Anyways, okay, we're done. We've done. We've talked long enough. Thank you, Sean. Hopefully, Chase is back the next time we do this.
Oh, Chase would have hated that last segment.
He'd have left. He'd have been gone.
That was for you,
He'd
buddy.
have been gone. He'd have been like screaming at us. We're an hour over. But that always happens. Anyways, thank you for everybody in the chat. At some point, Brandon has wanted to do this for a while, but we will do a live Q&A. And that should be fun. That'll be fun because we always get asked questions in the Discord. And remember, we do have a Discord that I'll try to remember to link in the description because I'm bad about linking in the description. But if you think that we get off on tangents here, there's so many rooms in that Discord. There's so many rooms in that Discord that you can just post stuff in, random thoughts.
We had a discussion about a ridiculous looking, what was it, a burrito or something from
cotton candy burrito.
Yeah, cotton candy burrito.
Yeah.
So please join.
Please join. We have fun. It's not just wrestling talk. It's we got food talk. We have comic talk. We got video games. Yeah. Did you see what I posted, Markeem?
That's the
River City Girls.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, everybody knew it was the Double Dragon guys, though. You can tell.
I wasn't. I don't pay attention to that.
You were surprised. You were surprised.
River City Ransom.
Yeah.
Oh, River City Girls.
Yeah. They announced the Double Dragon Billy
DLC.
and Jimmy as
okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Like, look at their silhouettes. How could you not tell?
I hadn't seen it. I hadn't
I
seen
want to
it.
play this.
God damn it, this chair.
I mean,
I'll play this.
it's okay. Okay, I can get you talking about the Rock Howard trailer.
Oh man, see, I thought we were about to leave.
But anyways, okay, we're done. We're done for real. I'm hitting the insert stream. Have a good one. We'll be back 2 weeks, probably, maybe. We'll see.
All in.